Hello, everyone. Kitty Foss here, your storytelling astrologist, reader of the stars for March of 2025. That's a little bit of a misnomer today because I'm only going to do March from the beginning of March through March 20th, 21st, the end of the astrological new year. I will be coming on to do another introduction of this astrological new year that is coming up, which promises well, it already is changing the way we do everything. We will not be going back. We will understand ourselves in a whole new way. And that does not mean that everyone will gently enjoy this. And yet, a lot of us, especially if you're watching this and you're drawn to this, will come to understand that this is our evolutionary energy. And we are finishing up this cycle with an amazing launch of energy to get us ready for what is coming in this next astrological new year, year number 9. So it's all about transformation and concluding, and it is also about the year of the snake. So let's start with where we are. So when I went to do this, uh, already at the top of the page was the words living on a prayer. And that really is about us understanding that it is our intentions, it is what we set, what we talk with our source about. I happen to call source Gus, which stands for God, universe, source, and spirit. What we talk about, what we set our attentions around, what we pay attention to, what we create in our own immediate environment, that is also the space that we hold for the collective. So the message of March, especially until the 20th, is the isolation ends. It absolutely ends, and we are purging and beginning anew. So it's really important that we understand that we are living with prayer, on what we trust with the universe as we move forward. And so the song that started to play as I went to begin this was the song, It's the End of the World as We Know It. Not to be a scary thing, but it is that whole idea that we are experiencing and we are properly in this next astrological year becoming something different in the way we think, the way we act with each other, the world we are building. This is an evolution. So take care of what you focus on. What you see is like pressing your eyes closed and reopening it again, or closing yours and listening again to how you're interpreting this, how you're expanding it. And as we will have our planet of expansion, Jupiter moving into Cancer, it'll be how we nurture it, how we look at compassion. So, we are beginning right away in the beginning of March with our Venus placement retrograding in Aries. And when a planet retrogrades, it's not that it goes backwards. It's like if you're walking with someone and that person slows way down, but you keep up at the same pace, it almost appears as if they're going backwards. And what you continue to move forward. And so, what this is really about is the creativity with spirit that steps forward. What we are here to redo, rethink, rebalance as we look at this Venus energy. It's kind of peering out and saying to us from our internal, let me really be sure of what I value, what my relationships tell, how do I show up in this world, and the ability, the stability to do that and be comfortable with change. And then on the second, we have a conjunction with our Mercury energy and our energy that is Neptune. And what's really interesting as we look at the second is they're both at 29 degrees. 29 degrees is the karmic reset energy. It's called the anaretic degree. And so we are resetting right in the beginning of the month as we've gone internally to look at that. How do I show up? How do I experience? How do I communicate? And what is Spirit asking me to do? We are getting ready to leave a 165-year cycle with Spirit as Neptune gets ready to move into Aries by the end of the month in that new astrological new year. And so it's sitting at 29 degrees, resetting our karma. So if you go back 165 years, think about where that new cycle began. There was slavery. There was raiding. There were people being stolen from their villages. There was a caste system. There were all kinds of atrocities that human beings selling each other that human beings were doing. And now we're trying to root those out. We are really trying to look at that. That does not mean that gently go people into this level of shift, but we are going to be starting a new 165-year journey with spirit. And so as we sit here at that 29th degree, we are looking at our karma, how we want to reset it. How do we evolutionary want to show up for each other? This is a month where I'm going to tell you when people show you who they are, believe them. That doesn't mean you have to sit in judgment. That doesn't mean anything, but it does mean your reaction, how you respond, steps forward. And it starts right there on the second to look at, I can reset my karma around this. Reconsider who you are and what you find valuable in your life starts right away. And then on the third, we have Mercury. Mercury that sat there at the 29th degree then moves to Aries. And in Aries, Mercury is asking you to start again with how you're communicating. Again, it's not just about communication, because communication, by the way, isn't just verbal, it's also not verbal. It's also how you experiencing it. Are you taking things personally? Are you able to really stand in who you are? It's a pioneering, innovative kind of energy that moves this experience. And there's a new kind of animation that's going to be stepping forward. We will not be experiencing ourselves in this month similarly to how we've ever experienced ourselves in our lifetime. And this last manifestation new moon that was in February, which was in Pisces, this new moon, has created this 2 week window until the next eclipse, which will be the 14th, of really a new level of animation stepping forward, a new way of things showing up. And as we are learning with our AI, to look at what is truly real, what are we truly creating, what can be a manipulation. It is about what resonates with us and creating our internal systems. This is part of what this new movement is away from, is that we look outside ourselves for the answers and the rules, and we look inside ourselves to truly, do we believe what we're saying? Are we showing up for our fellow man, or are we having judgments and playing into the fears? How have we decided to limit others? And is that something we are willing to accept for ourselves? So this is a very much, and we're looking at AI, artificial intelligence. What is it telling us? What is this evolutionary energy? There are manipulations as well as messages. So this is a month, especially as Mercury moves into Aries, to re-establish some of this, because Mercury, by the way, will be going retrograde on the 15th of this month. So this particular period of time is quite important because we're going to go back over it in degrees in this Aries, all the way back into that 29th degree of Pisces again. So as we start the month, we have a piece that will end the month the same way in that resetting of karma as we look at what we've established in how we're experiencing things. The 7th and 8th has a really lot of courage and action around it. We have the sun trining Mars, and whenever that happens, it's about both our reality and our dreams because of the energy of both Cancer and Pisces. Very emotional. Go for things for their emotional core. Sit in who you are. And with our South Node in Virgo, and that's where our eclipse will be, we really are learning where are the places we told ourselves we're just not enough. Where are the places we've rescued someone without us really looking at who we are? How do we take a look at that? And where you've told yourself you're not enough are going to step forward, and with courage, right around that 7th and 8th, emotionally, it's all right to accept this made me angry. And then look at, but does it make me angry because I have felt like I've been discounted, or does it make me angry? Take a look at what emotions come up for you and accept them, not fight them, and really look with courage and take the action to step forward. The 11th through the 13th is a kind of serious time as the sun is conjunct our in Pisces, the sun is conjunct our Saturn, about our structures. So, what has stepped forward courageously, led by emotions, very human understanding? Recently, I heard ego called earthly guidance only. Perhaps you've learned a little bit about that guidance. Now there's some seriousness that comes up because this is a time we will be establishing boundaries, and the boundaries are about flow. I draw the boundary for myself so other things can flow and are about the movement forward. Again, we are finishing up at 29 degrees all the way through this month, this energy getting ready for this launch that is this next astrological new year, as the major planets and the bridge planets are all changing signs. Pluto has already done it, but the rest of them are. And it is a probability, a numeric probability that this short period of time with all this changes is astronomically unusual. Through the 11th and 12th, we have Venus retrograde that joins Mercury in Aries, and they'll be conjunct. And those are our daily energies. So it's very much about our communication in this Aries energy. What are we starting? How are we looking? And working with that internal energy right through the 11th and 12th to align them. My words and my actions are aligning with my values, my balance, and my relationship needs, wants, needs, and requests, because we've just set all of these boundaries to deal with that. So these are all happening simultaneously. And it's also creative communication time to look at the value, to look at a different way we're going to do this. And speaking from a really deep place of understanding while we're feeling these things, we are aligning our power, calling back what we may have given away in places we thought were not enough, and we're aligning, getting ready. And then on the 14th is that a lunar eclipse in Virgo. Again, our placement of our South Node in Virgo is all about us learning where we have told ourselves we're not enough. We rescue, and we are really learning to move towards the flow that is for us, the uncovering. And this is a huge year of uncovering. This is the cycle of details that we perhaps have been taking a look at and trying to get things done with, and we're letting them go. We are moving into that full moon energy. We are letting it go. It is time to clear. It is time for unique solutions. With the next day, the 15th, Mercury going retrograde, our technology and our alignments will again slow us down. And the day before this happens, we slow way down. It's the beginning of an end, just like it's letting go. Again, the song that came to me immediately was Welcome to the End of the World as You Know It. And even if you're hearing this and you go, think of what that also could mean for us. Letting go of a patriarch, letting go of suppression, letting go of war, letting go of all of these other things. Where have you said, oh, suffering is, there will be problems, but suffering, is that really something that has to happen? And so with the full moon at 2:55 a.m. on the 14th, we have the ability to let go, give gratitude in all of the smaller ways with this South Node energy. Understand this is the places that you are learning of acceptance and that you are enough. You can use your voice when it shows up for you, and let other people use their voice. If you're not a person to protest, that's all right. That's not you. There are people that they're called for it. But what action can you take if you find some things out of alignment? Um, and it's a very emotional time because the 19th through the 20th, the moon is conjunct again at 29 degrees. What moves us forward is resetting our karma, resetting it with spirit, understanding that I must walk the walk. If I truly am a spiritual person, what does that mean? What is in my sovereignty that is part of the whole do I show up with? And so we are ending chapters right through the middle of the, be aware of the Ides of March. And the Ides of March is, it's always been about the middle of the month, but it is in March was always about a celebration coming to the end of a year, the astrological year, and what are we starting with? So take a look at perhaps what does it mean to be aware of the Ides of March, the 15th. And this is a completion. We are really getting ready for this new start. We are moving ahead with flow and creation and karmically resetting what it is we are becoming as mankind, as we have Pluto in Aquarius, our collective thoughts, our collective ways of being. And if you can think about some of the all-encompassing energy that's around us that seems to, it makes sense because not everyone is open to the change. There's a fear that comes forward with change. And when we're talking about the very evolution of mankind, we are revisiting many things in that 165-year cycle. We really have. Have we let go of it? Some of us have. And how do we move mankind into that? It is an emotional time, a karmic reset, a spiritual time. Take care of yourself. Make sure you take the time to be quiet, the time to tune in. Look, my phone even says yes. And um, and so make sure you take care of yourself. I will be back after the astrological new year on the 20th of March, the spring equinox. And I wish you time, healing, caring, and much clarity during these first few weeks of March. Namaste.